we are doing a TV show review for Amazon. So if you have Amazon or Amazon Prime, definitely check it out. It's from the creators of The Office and Parks and Rec. This is their new show called Upload. Now, I have not seen any trailers for this or anything like that. George said to check it out, so I was like, oh, cool. Like,
his vitals are dropping. We're losing him.
Do we really want to upload? We could be together forever.
You're so amazing. But forever is just like so long.
Upload's that way, OR's the other way. What do you want to do?
3, 2, 1. Upload. Hello, Nathan. 10 fingers and toes?
Pretty seamless.
This is the first day of the rest of your afterlife.
You may find yourself living in a beautiful house.
Cool.
Welcome to Lakeview. Uplifting views, timeless Americana.
Yes.
It's 10 a.m. Breakfast is over.
No! It's not even real food!
New guy coming through.
This one.
Do I dare?
Dare.
Yes.
Hey, boundaries.
Cute. I think he's cute.
You may ask yourself, how did I get here?
Denied. In-app purchase required.
Is this what you look like for real? You're not some old dude or something?
No, this is me.
You're a little cutie.
So I understand you were in a bad place yesterday. It's only weird if you make it weird.
You're dead, man. What's up? Oh, fuck.
There's a guy I might like.
What's he do?
He's in computers.
You know you can walk on water whenever you want.
No way. I'm not even supposed to be here.
Nobody feels like they should be here. Do you think I wanted to fall into the Grand Canyon?
That's how you died?
They should expect people to try and break the glass floor.
I saw that video. You dabbed on the way down.
That's how you get the likes.
I think I told you that it was on, right? Like I saw that. I literally was on Amazon Prime and it said Upload. I'm like, is this the one George was talking about? And then I
got
texted you,
so many texts about Upload from you guys. Oh my gosh.
Well, anyways, I didn't know anything about it, but I did start watching it, and it has an interesting concept. The first 15 minutes, absolutely, positively, I was horrified by the idea of what this is. I don't like that they kill you and they upload you. I think you're dead at that point.
I don't think they kill you. I think they just keep you alive with you. They keep your brain alive.
No, they
kill
like
you.
But it's your consciousness.
It cuts your head off.
It's your consciousness.
They literally take the data of your personality and they collect data of how you were, and they literally create a artificial intelligence of you.
No, I don't think that's what it is. No. It's your consciousness. I think it's like basically
it's not your soul.
It's not your soul, but it is your consciousness.
Fictional.
Yeah.
This is fictional. There's no souls in this
I call it artificial intelligence because I don't believe that for a second. I'm sorry. But anyways, there's a second copy of you in the TV show premise. They kill you, then they make another copy of you, and they put you in this Matrix type world, and that's where the show actually gets interesting. The concept does. I'm only on like episode 2. I only got like a few minutes in. I didn't even get a chance to finish it.
Yeah, same.
I'm guessing it's probably gets better, but the first episode was just so freaky. Like I was not. Maybe I should have watched the trailer. I'm guessing because I had no idea what this was about. I pictured like a bunch of IT people sitting in the office uploading things and like trying to make websites or something. I did not know anything before I even clicked play. Like I saw the picture. And it was like upload, and it was like a computer screen and like a camera. I'm like, oh, it's like The Office and Parks and Rec is about like Parks and Rec, and like The Office is about Steve Carell and The Office. So I'm thinking IT, like their IT
Greg
workers.
Daniels also worked on A Good Place, which am sure inspired this.
I hated the Good Place.
I wasn't into the Good Place, but it was
could not get
okay.
into it.
But the premise of that one is you're either going to the good place or the bad place.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yes, yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm sure this is Greg Daniels. Like, I think I can do this, and I think I can do it better.
Okay. Well.
So Greg Daniels is a really good writer.
Let me finish my review.
All right. Go ahead.
And then we gotta go to George, and then we'll go to you, Shannon. We'll just nobody cutting off. Okay. So I did not know anything about that. I was horrified when the poor guy got zapped. I didn't know that was coming. And then his mom and his fiance just watched him die and fall into the bucket of ice or whatever it was. It was just like, what the hell is happening right now? And then, as the concept goes, I was just scarred by that. Was not expecting it. I didn't know where it was going. Literally, he was in a car, and the car wouldn't stop. I'm like, I guess it's about he gets hurt and then starts an IT program to fix like these like weird computer programming IT issues. I really didn't know.
Oh, so you didn't go into this expecting it to be about like the afterlife?
Not even. Like, I literally came from Parks and Rec and The Office, and this is where my head went about what the show was about. So I was disappointed horribly, and I was not ready for, not because it's my own fault, because I didn't watch any trailers or read anything. I literally, in my head, just came up with this scenario what the show would be about, and that sounds cool, them doing like IT programming stuff with these nerds in the future trying to like fix computer issues and like self-driving car. Like, literally, I just planned this in my head, and I thought this is where the show is going. So when he died, it was just like sorry, this is spoilers. I don't know if this is even spoilers. If you saw
it's in the trailer.
Okay, like sure. So I don't like this concept because I just wasn't ready for it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna blame myself for not knowing what the show was about, and just it's called there's a name for it. They call it in Star Wars. With the new saga. I forgot the name. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm gonna waste time. But the idea is like you come up with the story in your head. So when you saw the trailer for Star Wars, you thought Finn was gonna be a Jedi, and it was a story about him. So all the Star Wars fans just made this weird fantasy about Finn being the Jedi, and like it was gonna be him because in the trailer you saw Finn like before when the original Force Awakens came out, all you saw was Finn pick up a lightsaber and he was holding it about to fight Kylo Ren. So people came up with all these theories and fantasies around Finn being the Jedi, just to find out it was not about Finn at all. It's about Rey, and nobody saw that coming. And then people got pissed because like, I thought it was about Finn, and like, who's this girl and why is she the Jedi? And like, this is not what well, to be fair, we watched the trailer and we expected a story. So it's my own fault for not even watching this trailer, because it sounds like the trailer was pretty dead on what the show was going to be about. So, Anyways, long story short, I don't know what to think of this. It just scarred me because I was just not ready for that. And now I guess it'll get funny is where they're taking it. I don't know. That's my review. George, I'm throwing it over to you.
It gets a little bit better. I'm like at episode 5 now, and yeah, it's it gets a lot better like around 3 to 4. Like you actually start to, I know for 4 is the one where you really start to see he has like individual personality still, even though he is part of this AI kind of. And they actually, well, I don't know. This would be spoiler, so I can't do that.
That is interesting, though. They have some ideas. Look, as someone who hated the first season of The Office and the first season of Parks and
That's
Rec,
where I was going to go with this next.
Greg Daniels doesn't really know how to start a show, but somehow he finds a way. And I've only seen a few episodes of The Good Place. I have no idea if that gets better or not.
Let me tell you about that. So I just watched a Greg Daniels interview
sorry, I cut
today.
off.
Go ahead, George.
Let George finish.
Sorry.
Oh man. All right. So the TV show, from what I can tell, is going to be absolutely great. I love the fact that it brings out like cool like new technology kinds of things, like a bike that just returns itself There was that part. What you have to admit, that was cool. There
Do you
was
watch
also
Black Mirror, George?
What?
Do you watch Black Mirror?
No, but I've heard a lot of things about it and that it's freaky, and I'll probably watch it in the future.
You'll
but
love it
not
if you
until I
like
finish
the future
upload.
tech. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, this. Well, I mean, like the self-driving cars. Like, okay, so my thought when this whole coronavirus thing happened, I'm like, sweet, everybody's home. They can actually implement self-driving cars now. Now would be the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. So we're going to be another 5 years behind on that. Anyways, hopefully we just get to flying cars pretty soon and then they'll just be obsolete. So
to be fair, the reason not because they don't have self-driving cars, 2 people actually died on different cases where the car couldn't figure out when to stop. One person got run over by the car and didn't stop when it was supposed to, when they were like walking the crossway, and the other one was like exactly how the TV show where they just ran into a semi or like a truck and didn't stop. So because of those 2 deaths, because of those 2 deaths, they decided to back off the whole idea of because Uber really wants a self-driving car, but they don't want to pay us money or workers money. They want to keep all the money to themselves. So they were the ones pushing it. Obvious. What else you know about capitalism in America and businesses and corporations and how they work?
Well,
long story short,
that's still going to employ a ton of people. They have to have mechanics to work on the cars. They've got to have people to check in on the car being cleaned. That's still going to have a ton of people employed, even if they have self-driving
You mean
cars.
skilled labor? No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Somebody has to clean the car in between each use. Somebody has to service the car. Somebody has to check in on the safety of the car regularly. It's going to take more people than just having
robots are
going
to do that soon. So you'll be
robots should be able to clean the car.
Somebody has to build the robot. Somebody has to service the robot. Somebody has to program.
A robot's going to build those robots because we're going to get that far advanced soon. Don't worry.
Heck yeah. No,
it's about to be Wall-E. We all sit in flying chairs and get fat and look at our screen, which is we're almost there, and nobody has a job anymore because literally, like I just saw a YouTube documentary saying you got 20 years to figure out how to figure this out, because in 20 years, besides the specialty jobs, very few people, all the blue collar jobs and all the other jobs, they are going to be gone, and we have to figure out a way to set up another way to do that, because you're going to push a button and they're going to clean your house. They're going to do all the job. There'll be no farmers. We do need to come up with a system that talks about how to do all of these jobs that our future AI robots are going to take over and how that economy looks in the future. But that's something to think about later on.
People were opposed to inventing cars because they thought that carriage drivers wouldn't have jobs anymore. So like
the one thing about innovation, it doesn't wait for you and it does not care about your job or your business. It just keeps moving forward. And that's the one thing and I think like other countries are more open to it. Like they just realize, change is coming. Let's just prepare a while. I feel like Western countries
there's always going to be more jobs to do. Like
I hope so, but there's going to come a point.
There's always something to do.
Right. If we get to a point where the robots are self-sufficient and can actually do everything, then we're good. We'll just be taken care of, and then we can all focus on art. Like
somebody.
Oh no!
You know what's a really? You know what's a scary video?
We could focus on innovation.
The scariest video I saw was of a robot that created a new symphony, like Beethoven, that created it on its own that a human brain could not do, and it blew out like any other person that could do it like Mozart and Beethoven.
That makes sense because it's like patterns and
that's
like music is very mathematical though. So that doesn't freak me out that much because music is so mathematical.
But we have AI now creating stories and songs. Majority of the things that you actually listen to that's music, it's already an AI coming up with patterns. It's scary that it exists. Popular music. I'm not talking about indie. I'm talking about like these big music.
No, that
sounds.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Extremely disappointed with indie music as of late because it's like
Oh,
they're
really?
trying to reduce the patterns, and so it's like I'm not even kidding. They are literally backtracking music in indie simply because they're trying to be independent and like not pop.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like
No, it's true.
they're making terrible music.
I mean,
Well,
Shannon's there right now, and all power to that. You have your own like at-home work business that you do, so you don't have to leave. And George, you have a job that's essential enough to keep going to work. But I remember 5 years ago, I told somebody like, I refuse to work for a corporation or a business because when push comes to shove, they're going to push me out and they're going to fire me on the spot. They're going to talk about family and family values and blah, 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 and how we're a family here. But when it comes to money, I'm going to be gone. So I started looking ways to make money outside of like going to work and having a boss. And people are like, well, then you just don't want to, like do the work and you're lazy and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I just
you're definitely not lazy. You're the least lazy person I've ever met.
And so I was just like, no, I'm going to figure something else out that gives me money and to support myself. And I've done it. Like I started GeekdomMOVIES. We have a website and YouTube that we're going forward. That's a side project, of course. That's a long-term thing. But on the other side, I make websites. I do marketing. I do all kinds of other things. And I do it where it gives me money that I do where I'm my own boss and I make my own rules and I make my own set of hours and I do everything that is just me. So before, again, I hate to say it this way and I try not to speak on it too much, but like when the coronavirus came and people were like, what's going to happen to jobs and blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, thank God I did that when I did and got out of that system. Or like when George, you were like, I'm quitting this place and going somewhere else, or Shannon when you took the whatever you're doing at home right now. I think there's like a thing that's inside of us that knows that when push comes to shove, like they are gonna kind of push us out and like leave us behind without a single thought. And either you're for that or against that. It really doesn't matter. That's just what's going to happen.
Change happens.
Change happens, right?
It's as simple as that.
It's simple as that. And I think this TV show has a really, even like the idea of like an afterlife, a digital afterlife, I guess, is an interesting concept. And I believe it. There's another TV show on, oh gosh, what's that Netflix show? It's going to drive me insane. Altered Carbon. Watch Altered Carbon. It is so good. It is this sci-fi TV show where everybody has like a little hard drive in their brain, and they literally are just like these walking digital USB portable devices. They never die. They just, when the body dies, you just take it out and you transition to the next body, and you can transition it.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. I was like seriously, watch it immediately when you guys get the chance. You'll be blown away. Falcon's in it, George, in the second season. He's the main character from the bank job.
Sweet.
And he's really good in the second season too. He's not in the first season, he's just in the second season. But he's really good. And this kind of concept, I was like, well, I've seen it before, of this upload where you keep living even though you're dead, your body's dead. Kind of happened in Altered Carbon, and it just kind of reminded me of that. So I wasn't as blown away by this series because of the Netflix series. That's my review.
So I've been dying to talk about this. You just mentioned Greg Daniels and Parks and Rec and The Office, and I just watched an interview with him today, right before I watched Upload, and he was talking about writing Parks and Rec, and he was talking about how he doesn't like to start a show with a big premise. He doesn't want to have the plot already written going into the show because it makes for a really interesting pilot, but then you quickly run out of things to write about. So he starts his shows with characters. So he goes in and he creates really interesting characters, and then he puts them in this environment, and then he starts telling their story, which makes for not as exciting of a pilot, but it makes for a show that has really good longevity. So Parks and Rec lasted a long time. Brooklyn Nine-Nine lasted a long time. Office lasted almost 9 seasons. So this is a formula that
how many seasons?
I think it was 8. It's really 8 or 9.
Holy
but
crap, I thought it was like 4 or 5.
No, it lasts a lot longer. Like these shows
Apparently.
lasted really a long time, and they're still making Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So Greg Daniels knows how to write really interesting characters. Those are my favorite types of shows. The ones that explore character arcs, that explore relationships, that explore all these different dynamics between the people. Like the premise of the show is just a backdrop. I
Right.
care about the actual character arcs. So I'm excited to see where he goes with this, and I think that I will keep watching. It was a stronger pilot, definitely, than Parks and Rec and The Office for sure, but it wasn't the strongest pilot. So we'll see where it goes, but I trust Greg Daniels is a genius, and I trust him.
It's so weird. First of all, George texted me saying Altered Carbon, and I was like laughing because I was trying to Google the show. Have you seen it, George? Altered
What
Carbon?
about Sense8? Isn't that one too?
No, I just wanted to make sure it was somewhere on our chat so I would look back and see
Oh
it.
my gosh, you guys would love Altered Carbon. It is so good. Both of you right up the alley. But to say what Shannon was saying, I saw the first episode and Amazon just started playing Greg Daniels in the making of and I got super annoyed at it because like they showed the making of
The
Upload
Office?
and the Upload.
I didn't watch that one. I was
it just
watching
started playing on its own. I didn't even click it. And when it started playing, the actor who's dies and falls into the tub and then gets uploaded, he's like, oh yeah, like we didn't have a script, and I just went up to Greg Daniels and I was like, can I try this? And he was like, sure, go ahead, throw whatever you want, we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, what a retard. Like these people are so dumb. And I was like watching the making
No,
making
that's
fun
so
of it.
smart, because one of the secrets to Greg Daniels' success is that he collaborates with his actors.
But it makes for terrible first couple of seasons, like Parks and Rec and The Office.
No, I'd say it's a bad first couple of episodes, but then he really finds his stride once he figures out a lot more about the character. Like George was just saying about Chris Pratt before we went live. Greg Daniels says one of the best lines in all of Parks and Rec was an improv line from Chris Pratt. And it was something that he never would have been able to write, but it's one of the funniest lines in the show where Lizzie Knope is feeling sick and Chris Pratt says, I just typed your symptoms into the computer and it tells me that you might have network connectivity problems. And a lot of the character arcs, like Dwight Schrute being this kind of Amish hillbilly, that came from Rainn Wilson. That did not come from the writers of the script. That came from like his real life experiences and some stuff that he improv'd. So he knows how to build good characters, but he does have to work with his actors and experiment a little bit to get there.
You know, that makes a lot of sense because I've been watching a lot of John Krasinski's new YouTube show, The Good News Network.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're literally Jim.
Yeah, he's Jim.
You weren't even acting. You're like real life Jim. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. The only person I can tell is actually acting is Steve Carell, because Steve Carell is nothing like Michael Scott whatsoever. In fact, one of my funniest tweets of Steve Carell, which is rated the highest comment, the highest tweet by Steve Carell, is watching Trump give a press conference is like if Michael Scott became president and had to like come up with ideas on how to fix the country or run the country. It would basically be Michael Scott running the country. And I was like, that's exactly what that is. That is so spot on to like who Trump is. So I don't know. I just think that Greg Daniels has good concept, but he doesn't really know how to come up with like characters. I guess he expects your actors to come up with the characters. That's what it sounds like to me.
They actually took a lot of the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out right as The Office was just getting started. They actually took a lot of Steve Carell's character in The Office from his 40-Year-Old Virgin character because it got so popular.
Well, that makes sense. It's like one of his movie was big. He became like an A-list actor, and then he decided to be on a TV show while he was ready to be in movies. It was crazy. Like it was the first time we saw like an actor made for movies go to TV instead. It was just like weird. But like Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt are like, I'm gonna go make a TV show, even though I'm a big time actor.
Nobody thought that The Office was going to get big. When Steve Carell went on that show, he thought it was going to just be six episodes and then nothing after that. So he was never expecting it to get big. And when he started, he was not a big name actor. When he started, he didn't know 40 Year Old Virgin was going to get big. He didn't know The Office was going to get big. So he had a contract, and I think he loved being on The Office. You could just tell.
Oh yeah, I think
definitely his best role.
I've been watching the Office podcast.
The Office ladies, I love them. They're
oh my
best.
gosh, you could tell they're like legitimately.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to be on the show, and they were just all like hanging out, being friends.
Oh yeah, they had a
throughout
blast.
the show. Oh yeah, and Angela is nothing like the actor
The
herself
Angela you
because
see,
like
yeah.
oh my god, I'm like this is weird because I only know she doesn't do anything else. She literally just does. Yeah. Anyways, George, we can keep talking about Greg Daniels in Office if you want to. George, tell us your thoughts on Upload.
Well, I'm still in the middle of watching the first season, but I definitely think it's gonna be.
Shannon,
once
can
again,
you
I don't
mute
know
yourself?
if
There's a
it's-
lot of like background noise. Thank you. All right, sorry, George. Go
It
ahead.
sounded like a spoon in a ceramic bowl. Anyways, it's. I think it's gonna turn out to be rather interesting, and like you can see even though I'm only 4 episodes in, I'm starting to see more character development, which I mean, yeah, at the start it felt very awkward, kind of the acting in it. So I'm definitely.
Thank you. That's the weird dance with the girl at the dinner after the dinner, and then just
that was a little weird.
Sex in the car, and then pull over the car. Then he died. It was like
awkward.
They're trying to sign the paper to like upload or die, like go left here. The lady on the phone is like left or right, and the lady's like, "Oh, don't do that. That's a bad decision." And then he dies in front of like his mom and fiance. It was just so just.
There were a lot of butts. I was surprised how many butts there were in this.
And I don't mind butts. There were a
lot of butts.
But everything is just so freaking strange and weird, and
it's racy and it's out there, and the Office is so normal.
I love it.
Yeah, but
Parks and Rec is so normal.
Not normal.
No, but it's grounded in reality. The Office. Like,
yeah.
Like the concepts are more.
See, that's what I'm excited about with this, is that I think this one is going to be more so grounded in the future, but like not like the distant future, but like maybe within 10 years future. So like maybe this is actually what he's trying to do, is like, hey, let's come up with something that, I mean, The Office got big like however many years after it came out. Okay, maybe it's like, let me start this now, and by the time it gets big, it'll actually match what's going on.
he did jump the last season of Parks and Rec forward 5 years into the future, and they had like the Grizzle phones and like all this different new technology. So he's done this before.
Wait, what episode is that?
No, the whole last season of Parks and Rec is jumped like 5 or 10 years into the future.
What?
And they have,
Really?
Have you not watched it?
I've only seen one season, like half of one season of Parks and Rec.
Yeah, the last season jumps into the future, and they have like all these weird new technology and apps and all this stuff.
The last episode I saw of Parks and Rec was the one where they all go camping, and Aziz Ansari's character brings up all these batteries so he can play big screen TVs and music and
that's why I call him Fahad.
Yeah, but it's not funny.
Sky
it was
Mall.
just stupid.
It was hilarious. Where he orders all the stuff from Sky Mall because he can't go camping because he's got to have his video games and his TV and stuff.
I don't know why. I just can't get into Parks and Rec, and I've tried really hard. I don't like anybody in that show. Which is weird because I love The Office.
Don't like Leslie Knope and Ron Swanson? I think you need to watch more than one season because season one's terrible. Season one is bad.
No, it wasn't.
Just
it was
skip
the
and go to
second
season 2.
It was the second season.
Oh.
That's the second season. And it just wasn't. Even The Office, even though I didn't get into it and I didn't think it was as good, I was still sort of interested.
Oh, did you get past the Jim and Pam kiss episode? Casino
One
Night?
season. Me and Stephanie have watched 2 full seasons now. I'm actually caught up to the point where I left off originally. I've seen the second and third season. I never saw the fourth season. So we just started fourth season, and this
Okay.
is all new to me. Like Ryan is like the head of like corporate, and like
Okay.
Michael Scott's boss. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Did not see that coming. So but The Office was always good. Like me and my sister watched it live for 2 years, and college and life just got busy, and I just didn't have time, and I was like, okay, I'm done for a while. So, anyways, long story short, George, what I'm trying to say is like those concepts. Like it sounds like you like the weird, wacky future ideas of where
Watch
the
Black
science.
Mirror. You're going to love it.
I wouldn't say that. Black Mirror is scary as hell.
He loves horror.
I love horror, and
Oh,
I love
then you love it.
spooky,
Okay.
So
He's
yeah,
gonna love
funny.
it.
I'll
You
check
will
that out. And Altered
adore
Carbon,
it.
and
Do not listen to me, George. Do not watch the first episode of Black Mirror.
Why not?
Just skip it. It's horrible.
Do you remember the part
Everything
in
after.
Do you remember the part where in The Gentleman, the guy had sex with the pig?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
You'll love it. You'll love it.
That's the first episode of Black Mirror.
It's the best first episode.
No,
You'll love it.
It's terrible.
It's great.
I'll check
it's
it out.
horrible.
No, listen to me. Listen to me. This guy trolls the crap out of the UK Prime Minister and basically threatens him. And he says if he does not go on live television and have sex with the pig, he will do this. And I can't remember what it was. So the Prime Minister goes live on television and has sex with the pig. And it was awesome.
You liked it?
Great.
You're literally the only person I've ever talked to that liked the first episode of Black Mirror.
Are you kidding me? If I
That
get
sounds
to have
hilarious.
sex with a pig, I would die a happy man.
I don't think you'd have to try that hard.
Probably right, unfortunately, but that's a whole nother situation that we're not gonna talk about. But like it is like literally like keeping your like leaders, like this guy just like goes like, do this or I'm releasing this, and if you don't do this, I'm not gonna do it. And then the Prime Minister.
But that's like the worst episode of that show. So
that's
any
the
other
best episode. No other episode is as good as that episode. That episode is legend.
You're so wrong. You are so wrong. Nobody agrees with you. Everybody says Everybody says this is the worst episode.
This has got to be some of the greatest controversy to a pilot. So I have got to watch this.
There's other controversial episode, but the concept of that episode was so freaking hilarious and good.
It's disturbing.
In the right
But
way
I like
possible.
disturbing.
Yeah.
I like disturbing.
Like, have you met me and George? That's amazing.
Nobody. I've never met anybody that says that was a good episode.
You're talking to girls and guys who like you. Who wouldn't want to admit it.
I'm talking to
Let's be
everyone.
honest.
I follow Black Mirror Facebook groups that are specifically just to talk about Black Mirror. I've never heard of anyone that liked that episode. You're
love
so
that
weird.
episode. That episode is wonderful. Like the places that episode goes and the highlight of like where. Sorry, George, you gotta watch it. It's so good. No other episode disturbed me as much as the episode, and Shannon knows what I'm talking about. There's two. There's the one where those little AI robots just go around murdering people and they look
Talking
like
about
tarantulas.
Crocodile.
Is that what that was?
Oh, that one was like that. No, Crocodile's the one where they like kill a kid or something. It was really creepy.
I
can't
don't
remember.
know. The one I'm talking about is the one where these little black robots that they created. We don't know how the world ended, but these people are just like the last of humanity. And if they tag you, they will find you anywhere in the world and they will kill you. And once you get tagged, your only way to survive is to you literally have to take a gun and shoot you in the head. It was so terrifying because that could be a real possibility. Like
You
drones.
can watch Black Mirror in any order. There's no specific order. It's like Twilight Zone. Each episode stands alone, but they're all in the same universe.
Right. And the other episode is the one where if there's a crime, they like go and read everybody's mind and they see the crime. But that lady, she actually murdered her friend because her friend was gonna like say basically that they got drunk and ran someone over. You muted yourself. I can't hear anything you're saying.
That's Crocodile. I love that show.
First of all, watch the first episode because it's not terrifying.
Just skip it. Just skip the
No,
first episode.
don't skip it, George. Don't whatever
Watch-
you do.
I can't skip it. I can't skip
White-
it. Not now.
White Bear.
Not after what I told you. You gotta.
Not
watch.
after a build up like that.
Yeah.
Well, now you ruined the end. You spoiled it for him.
I did, but it was so like George. Come on.
But it sounds so
I gotta
awesome.
hook you. Yes. Like, can you?
You guys
imagine
are
this
weird.
No, you want to take the highest people in authority and basically like watch them be ridiculed. People in power who are like, it's a great concept.
Watch San Junipero. Watch White Bear and watch White Christmas.
George is probably just gonna watch all of them. I know George. He's just
Yeah.
You're gonna love
when
it.
I watch the series, I watch all the episodes.
You're gonna freaking love every episode. It's a revolutionary show. It's groundbreaking. I freaking love Black Mirror.
Which one's the one about the Facebook? It's the chick from Jurassic World, and it's the one
Nosedive.
where
I've seen that one so many times. Nosedive.
so good. That's my favorite episode. That's
Everybody
the one.
loves that one.
Oh my goodness, the places that episode goes and the things that it brings up was so ridiculously
And that's
mind-blowing.
real. That's real in China.
That's in
right
China.
now.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
you beat me to it. But yeah, it's actually real in a lot of places around the world, not just China.
So scary.
We're gonna be
I
there.
hope we never.
Oh,
I
really?
hope
Are you
not.
kidding me? If you tweeted something racist and you had a job right now, Shannon, or if I
You would lose the
tweeted
job, yeah.
something racist or something really messed up, or what?
Yeah.
we already did it. Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but let's be honest. Something you did
There's
10
good
years
and
ago.
bad. Yeah. Could come back to haunt you. Yeah.
Where do we draw the line? It's like I cannot not.
We
know
have to
it.
have
Like,
a statute of limitations. We have to.
I think we have to. I think if you're in
Like,
high school or you're like,
yeah.
you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm so like somebody. They were talking about this actually in the latest episode of Black Mirror, this podcast I watch. It's like, oh my god, it terrifies me to no end, and I feel so sorry for kids because some of the dumbest.
I said dumb stuff in high school that I would never
I
say
said
now, right?
I said dumb stuff. I did dumb stuff. I'd be popular and get the popular kids to like me. It's like looking back on it, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? But like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like like, let's say somebody videotaped that or put that on Facebook or on social media or Twitter, like, and you keep bringing it up. I'm like, there has to be a line. And even in college, I did people do weird, stupid things.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Roseanne Barr was on a mix of like two different medications and Ambien, and she was drinking alcohol, and she made some stupid tweet, and she lost her entire like life savings, her entire 30-year career, her TV show. She lost everything because she was on a drug.
My favorite part of that whole thing is she said the woman she was attacking was a monkey, and she said, and everybody attacked her for being racist because, you know, they call black people monkeys and the racial. Don't do that, people. I'm not giving you permission.
Right.
But like she said it, but she didn't know she was black. I don't know what the line is. All
It
I'm
doesn't
saying
matter. Like
is,
what she said was wrong, but and then she gets high on this drug one night because that prescription drug that her doctors had prescribed, and she mixed it with alcohol, which she shouldn't have done, and she makes some dumb tweet because she's a comedian, and she lost all her legacy and all of her money and all of her career for one thing that she said.
well,
And, like,
it wasn't just one thing.
everyone-
She was making
it
pro
was
Trump.
one tweet.
She was
Like-
making pro-Trump choices, and even the directors said
but
they were
that's-
uncomfortable with like her political stance, and this was the height of where everybody, well, people still hate Trump, but you know, when Trump was basically making sexist, racist accusations against tons of people.
Okay, but I was not talking about Trump. I was talking about Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, but
And
what I'm saying is,
it's a shame that she lost her legacy over a tweet that she did when she was high.
The point is, she's made other accusations, and there's tons of tweets from her from Trump supporting and all kinds of immigrants.
She's a comedian, and it's like her. If you look at her, one or two things she said out of context, it does look really bad. But if you look at her overall body of work as a comedian, as an actress, as a social, because Roseanne Barr was her show. She wrote it, produced it, she directed it. Like that was her thing, and you know, she fought for racial equality. She fought for LGBTQ rights. So this is not a bad person.
Fair,
this is somebody who has a mental problem that is
No,
disintegrating her brain
I agree
later
with
in
you,
life.
but you know, like Bob Iger said, we have a strict
She
Disney
also
rule, and
she also
Disney
was
does not like to get political. You
Right.
cannot, I mean, like they'll say it to your face. If you go work for Disney at ABC at the movies, you do a nudity scene, you do a something like
Yeah.
that, and you work for Disney, they'll fire you on the spot. Like
Yeah.
it's not rocket science here. That Roseanne is not a special case. Disney's always been like this, and like I tell people, like, and they'll say it. Like they asked the original person who was supposed to play Black Widow. I forgot the actress name at top of my head, but she's pretty famous. She's an A-list star. She's in a lot of movies. And they said, "Why did you turn down Black Widow and the crazy amount of money to play that character? You could have made millions." She's like, "I'm not gonna stop making hard roles where I'm a drug addict, where I'm naked and having sex on screen. I'm not gonna stop doing that because that is my art, and Disney doesn't have a say on it. So I am not signing that contract. I will say whatever the heck I want, and I will do whatever the heck I want, and screw Disney." Now, when you sign that contract at ABC, Disney, all across the board, you know what you're signing up to do. Roseanne is
true.
not a special case.
No, she's not a special case, and I was using her as an example of like it's a shame when if it wasn't in the time of phones and cameras everywhere and Twitter, like she would have rolled over in the middle of the night when she was having this hallucinatory dream because she was on all these drugs. She would have like had that thought and then went back to sleep, and like no one would have even ever known, right? Because that's not the actions that she usually takes as a person, but because it was some random thing that that people saw because she put it on Twitter in the middle of the night, like it destroyed her entire career. I think we have to be able to balance things out where it's like, okay, this person said this in high school, or they said it 10 years ago, but they've changed and they're a different person now. On the same note, we also have to be able to say, yeah, this person said something and it sounded wrong, and it was wrong, and they should apologize for it, absolutely. But let's not just take that out of context. Let's look at their whole body of work and what they've done with their life and the direction that they've taken their career, and let's look at them in a whole context and not just one thing that they said.
And that's why people don't like working for Disney, because Disney's not about that. Right now, Henry Cavill played Superman. He is right now on Netflix having sex on screen, like legitimate sex on screen. Like that's real sex. That is porn. That is happening in front of you. He could not do that if he was playing Captain America. He could not do that if he was playing Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. Well, what about Robert Downey Jr.? Well, that's the past. He didn't sign a Disney contract saying, like, the past doesn't reflect your future contract. But if Roseanne did that in the past and then signed the Disney contract afterwards, then she is held to a Disney family-friendly standard.
Yeah, that's true. You've got a good point there.
You know, so again, like, where do these lie? Like, I mean, like, you gotta say, like, Disney is very, very self-conscious of their IP and how they distribute. When you sign the Disney, that's why George Lucas easily signed Star Wars over to Disney, because Disney will make PG-13 family-friendly Star Wars movies. They will not go hard R with their movies. Stan Lee and Marvel signed with Disney because they will continue to make family-friendly, high moral tales.
Yeah, you've got a good point.
You know, Superman and Batman, there's stories in Superman where, like, they do horrible things. Superman becomes he becomes a communist in Russia and becomes a dictator and almost takes over the world. Batman rapes somebody. There's all kinds of
What Batman are you watching?
There's a lot of
Batman
DC comics.
Somebody?
DC comics.
Oh, you're talking about the comics. Okay.
Yeah, like DC Comics has hard NC-17 R-rated material. The Killing Joke, another example of just like really. You watch the Joker, like the one we just saw with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
That
would never be a Disney movie. No,
and that's
never.
what Disney wanted. So I'm sorry, not Disney. DC Comics wanted. That's why they signed over their rights to Warner Brothers, because they're not.
Yeah.
They want to play something family friendly like Shazam, but at the other end, they want to go and make a make a Batman if they wanted to, where he could rape somebody and get in trouble and then do something like that. Or the Joker, who has mental issues and does all kinds of crazy things.
Right.
You want that material there so that they can do it. Disney does not allow that. Their IP, I mean, just, you worked at Walt Disney World. I'm sure you signed all kinds of rules and things you can
Yeah, like
do.
what color nail polish I was allowed to wear, what color lipstick I could have, like all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I was talking about the Olympics with you, because I'm like, you don't want to go to the Olympics or do Disney if you're not ready to live
Follow
a certain
rules,
lifestyle and follow certain rules. Many actors have actually turned down Star Wars roles, Marvel roles, Disney roles for that reason. That's why what's his face from Ratatouille? What's his name? The actor.
I don't remember.
He's really famous now. He plays the voice of, he's in a lot of Marvel TV shows, and he shows up in a lot of Disney movies now. He's the actor. He had hard R stand-up comedy. We're talking rape jokes and all kinds of horrible jokes. But when he signed over and said he was going to do the voice for Ratatouille, he actually turned over to Patton Oswalt. He was in Parks and Rec, that famous episode in Parks and Rec where he explained.
He was from King of Queens. I freaking love that guy.
But he switched over to doing material now that is more Disney material rated because of that. Because he was okay with making his.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that contract lasted forever.
Well,
if
you want to work for Disney, yes.
And just while you were on the movie, you're on.
Well, he is. He's in Marvel TV shows and he's in Disney
TV
shows, and he continues to want to keep working for Disney. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The contract is, and I think it's 10 years. That's why you won't see Hugh Jackman make any roles that are hard R for another 10 years. So after the Disney contract was up, you actually, Roseanne actually forfeited her contract money for Roseanne because of what she did. Now, you can make the case, you're saying, that she was on drugs and stuff, but at the same time, you signed a contract. Contracts don't really care about your feelings and how something bad happened. All they care about is that's what the contract says. I mean, unfortunately, that's just what Disney is. I'm not defending the Olympics I did for I, Tonya, and I'm not defending Disney. I'm just saying you have everything they give you when you sign over.
You're right. But I also just as part of the social contract, people that aren't signed into a contract, just the general audience and general viewers, I think we need to be more careful as audience members. Are we taking somebody out of context? Like the Kevin Hart scandal. Those were things that he said 10 years ago. He would never say them now. We all said junk in high school that we would never say now. We shouldn't be holding that against each other or holding it against ourselves even. But for some reason, everybody attacked Kevin Hart for stuff he said 10 years ago when he's a changed person and he's evolved. None of us are the same person that we were 10 years ago.
Kevin Hart would have been better if that didn't come out right after it came out that he cheated on his wife, on his pregnant wife. That's what.
Did he? I didn't know that.
It was bad. Yeah, Kevin Hart had other things going on for him at the time. Not just.
Okay.
If it was just past jokes about gay jokes, he would have been many. Dave Chappelle
I didn't realize he
literally just went on Netflix and made every messed up joke.
The alphabet people.
Yeah. So Kevin Hart had the cheating on his wife, pregnant wife.
I didn't realize that.
That completely crushed him, and it was just right after coming out with the past stuff. I think he would have hosted the Oscars. Honestly, I think Oscars and Oscars. Let's talk about that. Disney. Oscars are on ABC. Disney.
Yeah.
Disney owns the Academy Awards, and they can look at the Golden Globes. They get Ricky Gervais to go up on stage and say the most messed up, horrible things because it's on NBC. But Academy Awards are on ABC.
Ricky Gervais has made NBC a lot of money.
Yeah, because he's controversial. If Kevin Hart hosted the Grammys the Grammys are also owned by ABC, Disney. Jesus Christ. If
Disney
Kevin Hart was hosting
everything,
because they have a law and a system in place that makes it so that anybody can watch it.
Yeah.
They'll go close to it PG-13 as possible, but they won't cross the line where it's controversial enough to really break it. And Apple's actually right up there right now with Disney. They're trying to keep their rules much close. Well, Steve Jobs did create Pixar, so it kind of makes sense that Apple is taking a lot of rule books from Disney anyway, because they have a huge.
Yeah, that's true. Apple's very careful about what they will not allow any like pornography on their like apps or anything. Their apps all have to be pretty family friendly.
And just like that, 1 million people just got rid of their iPhone because of that comment from Shen. Just kidding. All right, George, are you still with us, or are you reading something?
Sorry, I'm zoning out now.
Okay, so actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this rant and make a special Disney Hollywood social media like little rant that we could do, and like make it a separate video talking about Trump and politics and Disney and all kinds of stuff. I think it'd be a fun, interesting video to work on in the background. I have literally nothing else going on with my life except working on videos, so it kind of works out. So Upload was interesting. I am going to skip the first season and
of Upload.
Wait, yeah, it's not working for me. And knowing that Greg Daniels with Parks and Rec and The Office and The Good Place also just not working for me.
So
if that's the case, I will spoil it for you. No.
Well, Shannon's still watching it.
Don't spoil it for me.
I won't.
I'm actually
I'll
gonna
only
watch it.
spoil it for Fahad.
I'm gonna wait for a few more episodes to come out and then I'll binge it. I'm watching Little Fires Everywhere, which is amazing. Can we review that one next week? Holy cow, it's so good.
Oh gosh. Okay,
no
more
episodes. Wait a minute.
Let's
you
do.
You
no,
said
no,
a
you're
few
jumping.
more episodes to come out.
Yeah, the whole season's out, Shannon.
The whole season's out.
Oh, it is? Okay. I'll watch it at some point. I'm so busy right now.
Okay.
I'll probably catch up to it. Probably jump in
Yeah.
second season because I've noticed second season usually gets better. So I'll probably jump right back in. Greg Daniels has shown me he does get better, and I'm sure Upload will be much better second season once he gets the hang of who these characters are and what they do. What I was gonna say was let's give our final recommendation for Upload so I can edit this into our Upload review. I will say definitely worth checking out. Good concept. But because of the history of Greg Daniels and his other TV shows like Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, and The Good Place, I will wait for the second season to jump in and binge it then. George, what is your final score for Upload, and what are your final thoughts and score?
My final score for Upload is probably I'd say 7 out of 10. I really like it just mostly because it's so futuristic and really, provokes a lot of thought into it. A lot of thought as to like what the way everything's going. If there is an option for eventually having like a future eternity that's digital, it's just very interesting in thoughts like that, and also technological advancement as a whole, really. But yeah, the character plots are kind of interesting because the perspectives. You got one person that's alive. Well, no, you got multiple people alive and one person who's dead, and their interactions it's makes for very, very interesting situations. But yeah, so I think I like it.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. It didn't hook me in as much as I was hoping, but I think you're right. It has a lot of interesting concepts. I trust Greg Daniels, and I hope that it gets better as we go along.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm right there with Shannon's review, like about a 6, so a little bit lower than George's. I do agree with George with the concept idea of the TV show. I do think I do know Greg Daniels is gonna get better, and he's gonna make better TV show come second season, and they'll have more of it down, and that'll be fun because then I can just binge watch 2 seasons and just really get the concept down. So yeah, that's our final review. Check it out, guys. Let us know what you guys think.
So put your suggestions in the comments down below. Make sure you go find us on Patreon, YouTube, Google, all of your different social media and network accounts, and drop us a couple bucks on patreon.com. All right, guys. Geekdom Movies out. Have a great night.
Guys.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.